Some sad news to report. Actor Malcolm-Jamal Warner, best known for playing Theo Huxtable on The Cosby Show, has died. TMZ was the first to report the death of the 54-year-old, saying it was an accidental drowning in Costa Rica following The Cosby Show. He held featured roles in the sitcoms Malcolm and Eddie and Read Between the Lines. Let's bring in Grammy-nominated poet and author Kevin Powell, who was friends with Warner. I feel like whenever I saw Malcolm-Jamal Warner on television in recent years, he was always preaching positivity and with such a light. Just talk to us about the success of that role on The Cosby Show and what he meant to you.
Oh my God, this is the first interview I'm doing about this, and my phone's been blowing up since this news came out. He was humble, he was kind, very supportive of other people. You would have never known that he was a major child star. Very well adjusted, as we know, a lot of our child stars don't have happy adult lives for a lot of reasons. Malcolm did, married, daughter, poet, published poet. I got to publish him as a poet, Grammy winner, Grammy nominated. He's an incredible musician, just a great human being. And I literally, Miss Duncan, I gasped when I heard the news, and I thought it was a hoax. I couldn't believe it, because he's someone who really cared about a lot of people. He was never someone who was, into the celebrity of it. He knew who he was. He
Hmm.
knew, that he was America's son. He literally was America's son as the only male child on that historic show, The Cosby Show. He was America's son. And you can see I've been on social media for the last hour or so, and just the outpouring of grief and it's trauma. It's traumatic for us who are. Uh, it's just traumatic. It's just. I feel the same way we felt when Matthew Perry from Friends died.
Mm.
It's that kind of loss because it's someone you came of age with, and there's someone who has been around pop culture for a long time myself, MTV, Vibe, hip hop, all of it. It hurts anytime you lose someone and to see someone who was so full of life. 54 is young, and then he was on a family vacation in Costa Rica. He's just like, my gosh, like why? Why him? Why?
Kevin, do you remember your last conversation with him?
Wow, that's a great question. We text a lot. That was my man. We text a lot about poetry and about music. And we always kind of check in with each other. One of the things I'm most proud of, and one of our most recent conversations when hip hop turned 50 a couple years ago. I was
Mm.
editing a special issue of a magazine, and I asked Malcolm because he has a lot. He had his podcast, and so he had a strong. I mean, he's just someone who also directed music videos. People don't realize that he also is a lifelong hip hop head. So he
Hmm.
wrote a beautiful, powerful poem that he said his wife approved that we published in a special issue of African Voices, 50th anniversary of hip hop. And so, that's the one that stands out to me because he loves hip hop in the way I do. But, as someone who's married, who loves his daughter, his wife, he was also concerned about a lot of the images that were being put out there. And so that became kind of his thing in the last few years. Like, how are we representing ourselves as a community, as a people,
Hmm.
with the art that we're creating? That sticks with me because he was someone who understood he had a huge platform, he had a famous name, and people would pay attention if he said certain things. So that's who Malcolm was. That's who Malcolm Jamal was. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to give this last question sort of an opportunity for you to tell us how you would like him to be remembered. I mean, you said all of these beautiful things about him already, but how do you think he would want the world to remember him? How do you want the world to remember Malcolm Jamal Warner?
I'm trying not to get emotional here. I actually have been asked to write a piece for Newsweek about this. I have to turn around fast. He was a son. He was a father. He was a husband. He was an artist. Um, he was someone who really cared about people. He really cared about people. You introduced me as a Grammy-nominated poet. He was one of the first people who congratulated me. He was so supportive of other people, and he's the kind of person who, yes, he was a celebrity, but I think he would have been most proud of being remembered as just as a good person, a good human being, and a good man who really cared about human beings and wanted to see everyone do well.
Yeah. Kevin Powell, I'm sorry for your loss. And of course, a lot of us will be sending prayers to his family and all those who were close to him.
Yeah,
Kevin Powell, thank you. We appreciate your time.
thank you.